Welcome back to the I Am Money podcast. This is your host, Jeremiah Austin Johnson, and I am so excited to have you guys tune back in. We are a group of people that just want to see how good life can get. We want to see how good this life can get. And I'm glad that you're taking some time and listening in. I know that this conversation is going to change your life. I know that what I'm going to speak about today is going to bless your soul. So please listen in. Go ahead and share this podcast with somebody that you love, somebody who is on a growth plan with you, somebody who is trying to grow and expand their life and just need a little extra push, just need a little extra motivation. If you wouldn't mind, please share, subscribe, leave a comment, leave something inspirational of your own in the comment section. Your interaction keeps us going. Your interaction with us allows us to get on here and bring you quality content. So please, if you don't mind, follow us on all platforms. We're on Facebook, Instagram, I Am Money Podcast. We're on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, everywhere that you can pod, we are available. So today, I know we haven't talked about our goals and our dreams and stuff for this year since this is our first podcast. So I just want to start off on I just want you to think about those goals. I want you to think about the dream that you have for this year. I know that you probably have already written out the plan. I know that you probably already have the vision board up. So I want you to go back and remember that thing. Remember what you had thought about at the beginning of the year. On January 1st, 2026, I want you to go back and start thinking of that. Start thinking about those dreams. Start thinking about those goals. Start seeing the life that you want to see for yourself at the end of 2026. I want you to put that in the forefront of your mind for a moment. Just put that in the front so that way you can have that vision, you can hold that mental image, and we can suppress it to the subconscious today, okay? So I want you to think about that. So as you're thinking about that, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my goals that I have planned for this year. So at the end of 2026, I would like to be fluent in Spanish. I would also like to add 2 new rental cars to my rental fleet, and I would also love to have my Airbnb up and running, bringing in profit for me each month. So those are the major things. I also have some smaller goals that aren't so major. So some of those things is expanding my wardrobe. So part of my plan and my vision for this year is each month I buy 2 to 3 shirts. They can be on clearance. Most of the time I just been going on Hollister and looking at the clearance section and just adding 2 to 3 tops. And if they have some bottoms on sale, I'll add that too. Just small things that'll make the year so much better. I'm doing the same thing with exercising. So part of it is like the first quarter, I have a goal for running. And then the second quarter, I'm increasing the goal. So I'm increasing the goal all little increments at a time to get to the big vision. So even for those bigger goals that I have, I'm breaking those out down in quarters. So I would love to have the Airbnb up at the end of this first quarter. I would love to have each rental car the following quarters. So it's breaking up the big goals to actually attain them. And so sometimes when we make them smaller, it's easy to obtain. It's easy to just focus on that one thing without focusing on everything at one time. This year, I did a vision board, but I did a calendar. So I printed out the 12-month calendar and then I broke them up in quarters and then I wrote out everything. So on this calendar, I wrote out my doctor appointments. I wrote out birthdays. I wrote out those individual goals and plans that I have. And then for each quarter, I'm starting it off like this first quarter. I just reviewed it yesterday, and part of what I want to do in this quarter is I want to bring in giving more. I want to do better with calling my family. I also want to show up in my best self every day at work. And those are just the everyday things that I want to incorporate in my life this quarter to make those stick. I want that to be a new normal. So I'm breaking those big goals into smaller attainable goals. And I think that you should do that too. I recommend doing that. It makes it so easy just to be like, okay, hey, this is what I'm going to do this week. This is what I need to do. If I can do this week, I'm good. I do the same thing. I want to read a book each month. So I'm breaking that down because I want to be more educated in business. I want to be more educated in finance and money. And so I'm reading books on those things so that way I can provide better quality content for you each day. So that's what that I'm breaking those down. So I know in January I read a book. This for February I've already read the book, but it was a small one. So I'm trying to add. I have a new book that I'm currently reading, and I want to read that. I want to finish that before the end of the month. And when I looked at my calendar yesterday, I was able to see, hey, I have 2 weeks left to finish this book. So that means I need to be at least halfway through this book by the end of this week. So it lets us be able to properly plan for the week without just shooting goals and just shooting things into the sky. Because we can have a goal, say, oh yeah, we're gonna read every month, or I'm gonna do this, I'm gonna do that. And then when the time comes, the time has passed. Because most of the time we still working. We still have obligations. We have children to take care of. We have a business to run. We have a job that needs us. And so sometimes our personal goals get pushed back. It keeps getting pushed back. But if you have that calendar, if you have something in place, you're able to say, this got to get done this week. This has to be done for me to move forward. This has to be done so that way I'm working on my personal life as well as my professional life. So that's a little bit about what I'm doing this year and what I'm focusing on. And I want you to let me know what you're focusing on. So in the comment section, if you want to shoot me a text or if you want to just put that information out there and let us know what you're working on. We want to know if you're going to do this vision board or do you have some goals and how are you going to break that down? So let us know. I love to hear and I love to provide some feedback on it as I see those comments come in. For today, my goals for today is to sit there and I really want to go into walking into the promised land. And it's really the mindset of the children of Israel that they had to take on to actually get into the promised land. And I know sometimes we're in the mindset of escaping Egypt so hard sometimes. So the children of Israel, they were in a place of slavery essentially, and they escaped and they had to leave and it was hard. And so as they walked out into the wilderness and they left Egypt, they had to take on a mindset of, okay, well, we're not going to be oppressed anymore, so we have to move forward. And so in moving forward, they had to trust God and do a lot of different things to get there. So they had to cross the Red Sea. They had to, live out in the wilderness, and God provided manna from the sky for them. God provided food. God provided a safety place for them. And sometimes that bad place, so wherever you're coming from, whether that's being in a lot of debt or being in a toxic situation, a toxic life, a toxic work environment, a toxic relationship, if you've been in a bad place, whatever that thing is for you, sometimes we have to push and we had to fight so hard to get out of that place. And God provided a safe place. And I know that God done that for me many times. I know when I left one of my jobs, I said, hey, I gotta go. This job is not serving me. I don't like it here. And it was becoming too much and I left. I didn't have another job in place, but God provided a trailer for me, a mobile home that the lot rent was really low and included all the utilities. And it was a safe place for me. It wasn't the end result, but it was a safe place. It was like the manna that God released. It was like a place where I could live. It was a place of shelter where I could be okay as I'm regrouping, where I can be okay in that place. And sometimes whenever we've fought and we've got out of that place, it's hard to really get into the promised land in that same mindset because the old mindset says, okay, I have to run. I have to fight. I have to get out of this thing because it was choking me and holding me and keeping me back. And that's part of a fight or flight response where we're always on the go and we're always pushing to the next thing because we're trying to get as far away from the bad place as possible. For me, a lot of it was debt. And so when I had to fight to get out of that thing, I had to say, okay, well, I have to get multiple jobs. I was doing Lyft, Uber Eats, substitute teaching, doing whatever I could to bring in additional income. And that was needed in that time. That was needed to get me out of Egypt. that was easy, that was needed to get me out of that bad place. So what you have been doing isn't bad. You had to do that to get out of that place. But now you may find yourself in the place that says, hey, I'm trying to get into my promised land. I'm trying to get into this place where all of my dreams are possible. I'm trying to get to that dream where I don't worry about finances. I'm trying to get into that place where all of my needs are met and everything is good. And whatever the promised land is for you, whatever that business is, your promised land could be a business. It could be that business that you've been working on. You're like, if I get this, I'll be in my promised land. It's coming. You could be focused on finishing school, or you could be focused on getting this job, getting this home, getting this property. Whatever the promised land is for you, you are going to get there. You will walk in it, but you're going to have to change the actions. You're going to have to change the mindset that you were in before to get in that place. For me, after working the extra jobs and putting in the work, I was able to make sure my needs were covered, had a roof over my head, everything was good. And for me to get closer to my promised land, I had to switch up my debt pay. So instead of paying these debts monthly and trying to add extra to each one, or, focusing on one and doing the debt snowball, which when I did a few debt payoffs in the past, some of them I did do the debt snowball method, and it worked. It was good. But I was in an amount of debt that was over my head, an amount of debt that would normally take probably 10 years to pay off. And with my current income, if I was going to do that, if I was going to keep fighting, I would have spent maybe 10 years working on those things, working on those hard things, grinding, doing Lyft, doing Uber Eats, working a regular job, doing all those things, starting the different businesses, trying to run all that at the same time while all of the funds are just going to the debt, just going, knocking those things out. So I decided that I was going to stop paying those things. I decided that the best way for me to get out of this debt is to let them send it to collections. I can stack up the money that I would have threw on this, and I have to stack it up. And I'm just gonna, when they're gonna start knocking on that door for the collections, I'm gonna say, hey, I can't pay you. Let's say the debt is $10,000. I can give you a real world example. I had $15,000 on a credit card. It was with Chase, and Chase was calling and calling and calling. And then it finally got sent to collections. And then when I spoke to the collections department, I was like, hey, I can't pay this 15 because they offered a payment plan, no interest, all of those things. Because of course they want to get their money. Rightfully so. But I said, well, I'm not going to pay 15,000. But what's the lowest that I can pay to get this debt wiped off? And we got it down to about 6,000, close to 7,000. So I paid 6 to 7,000, and the rest was canceled. So that was paying less than what the debt that I owed was. And that's God's favor. It was a different plan. It was a different mindset that I had to take on to say, hey, this right here, this is not good for me. But I can still achieve the same goal. I just may have to switch it up a little bit. Part of reaching my promised land now is that I'm learning how to relax more. I'm currently and actively learning how to dial it back a notch and say, hey, everything that I want is going to come. I don't have to push my way in because I already own it. I have right to the promised land. I have keys to the thing that I want. So I don't have to push as hard. And that goes against everything that I used to believe. Because I used to believe, coming in from the fight or flight, when I was in Egypt, it was like, hey, I have to fight. I have to get out of this thing. And so now that I'm in this better place that God has for me, I'm in this place of refuge that God has provided. Now it's time to say, okay, hey, I don't have to fight as hard anymore. I have to take on the new mindset of saying the more I rest, the more I can make. And so now I'm focusing on building the things that's going to give me unlimited wealth versus trading my time for money. For example, instead of picking up extra shifts doing Lyft, I now focus on the time that I would have spent doing Lyft. I take that time and say, how can I grow my cleaning business? How can I grow my rental company? What systems can I put in place to make things easier? Just last week, I had different easy tags on my cars. Like I had to switch between different accounts to let the renter know how much in tolls they owed. And so I called, just spent some time, and it took a little while to put all the tolls on one account. And they showed me how I can filter through to make that process a little bit easy. So that way, when I have these extra cars that's going to come this year, when I add these 2 new cars to the fleet, when I'm managing 4 cars with tolls, it's going to make it so much easier. But I'm preparing and I'm spending time on unlimited wealth versus spending time on limited wealth. So some limited wealth is when you can only make up to this amount. Your job, your W-2 income is your greatest asset. But anything you do outside of that, be careful with. So even with your W-2 job, set up meetings with your boss and say, "Hey, I've been a great addition to the team. Here is how I bring value." And ask for those raises. Ask for those promotions because the more you make in your W-2 time, your regular 9 to 5, the more you can take to put towards your unlimited wealth ideas, those businesses that need to come off the ground. So right now, I want you to start thinking of those things. I want you to start thinking of the business, of the thing that's going to give you unlimited wealth, an unlimited amount of money. Because as I grow the rental business, is no cap on how much I can make. As I grow the cleaning business, is no cap on how much I can make. As we grow this podcast together, is no cap on how much money we can make. But if I take the time away from building those businesses and putting it on things for now, for the things that limit money, I'm not going to get into that promised land. So that's the mindset that I want to talk about. That's the thing. Whatever you've been doing, it's okay. It's not that you've been doing things wrong. It's not that what you did was wrong because it served its purpose. It served its time. But now it's time to step into something free. It's time to stop working as hard as we used to work. You don't have to grind as much. You don't have to fight as much in this season. And if you are in the season where it's time to fight and you're getting out of Egypt, fight. Put in the work because I've done it. I know how hard it is to get out. I know what it takes to say, "Hey, I can't do this anymore." We have been ingrained that credit is key. It's been ingrained in our lives that from when we were in high school to early adulthood, everyone talked about credit. And they said credit is such a great thing. And in order to be successful, you have to have good credit. In order to get the car you want, you have to have good credit. In order to get the house you want, you have to have good credit. But nobody was preaching and talking on how freeing it is to have a paid off car, how freeing it is to have a paid off home. In order to build credit, you have to get into debt. You have to open up a credit line, a credit card, a line of credit, and you have to build that up. I've been there. I was in the credit groups and on Facebook and building up my credit when I was in college, my freshman year, building credit and working on those things because I said I wanted a car. I want to have nice things. I want to own an Airbnb one day. I wanted those things. So I did the work in the past. But in order to get into my promised land, I had to shake those thoughts, really get into my own flow. Because people, when I said, and I don't share that with a lot of people and what I've done and what I've done, but people they really can't comprehend saying, "Hey, I'm not going to pay these credit card bills anymore." People sometimes won't be able to comprehend you saying, "Hey, I'm gonna trade this car in and I'm gonna get a paid off car." I'm not saying you have to let the car go, but what I'm saying is that sometimes you may be in a place where you have to make hard choices. And I want you to know that you don't have to think about what the world will think about that. You are your own person. Nobody else is living your life but you. Nobody else feels how hard it is but you. Nobody is getting up for work, putting in 40, 60, 80 hours a week to pay off debt, to not even be able to enjoy your own income. That's slavery. To live all your life to pay other people back, to pay a credit card bill, to pay a house note, to pay whatever you owe, personal loans, whatever that is. To be in that place is slavery. You are a slave to the lender. I want you to step out of that. I want us to step into freedom. So some of you, that may mean, "Hey, I'm about to pay this debt off radically. I'm about to start throwing income at it and I'm going to get free." To some that may be over their heads, they may say, "Hey, I'm going to take my tax income. I'm going to buy a check. I'm going to buy a paid off car and I'm going to let this car go." To some people, they're going to say, "Hey, instead of paying off these credit card debts, I'm going to hold my tax refund and I'm going to say, when these credit card companies call, when they send my accounts to collections, I'm gonna say, hey, because we still have to pay the bills now, because they will go after you. They will try to garnish your check. They will try to go do those things, but you can stop that by settling the debt. And what that means is that you may owe $6,000. You hold 3,000 from your tax income. I bet you're gonna be able to give them that three, and they're gonna cancel the other three. I don't want you to work all of your life, live until and not be able to live until you're in your 60s because you've been in debt for so long, and because debt becomes easy. It becomes easy to get in debt because what happens? You have a car that breaks down. You don't have an emergency fund. I have to get in debt. Those things come, but I want us to step out of that mindset. I want us to step into the fullness that God wants us to be. You want to know how good life can get? Life gets so good when you don't have bills over your head, when you don't have that pressure on you so hard because you owe something. My businesses, they run debt free. My cleaning business, if we don't have jobs, it's okay. My contractors are 1099. They have other jobs that they work as well. So when I give them when we do have jobs, great. When we don't have jobs, still great. With my rental cars, they're paid off cash cars that are salvage title vehicles that I got for cheap. If they're not renting out, it's okay. I can say, okay, it's no problem. I can cover the insurance. I don't have a car note that I have to worry about. I'm gonna park this. It's peace. If something happens, if there's a major breakdown, it's peace because they say, hey, I have the income. It's okay. If we have to park the vehicle for a while, life will go on till I can put the money in. It's gonna be okay. I want you to be in a place where when emergencies happen, it's gonna be such a peace. It's gonna say, okay, it's okay. Last week, the Civic that we have, the renter texted me and she said, hey, we need a new tire. The tire is getting bad. And I said, okay, don't worry. So I called Discount Tire and I said, hey, I need 4 new tires. We coordinated the time. I paid for it over the phone. She has 4 new tires on the vehicle now. Did it instantly because there's a peace. It's not oh my God, what are we going to do? It's not, oh man, I can't afford 4 new tires right now. I can't afford this $500. It was $500 with the warranty and everything for the new tires. And with Discount Tire, if y'all didn't know, Discount Tire, if you're listening, sponsor me. But if you didn't know, Discount Tire will actually, for the entire lifespan of your tires, if you buy from them, they'll patch your tire for free. They'll put air in it for free. They will take care of it. If it's not repairable, they'll replace it. They'll do everything. So that makes it perfect for the rental place. It makes it perfect for the rental company. And so that's and that's the kind of peace that I want you to have. When emergencies come up, you can say, hey, I got this. Don't worry. It might not have been expected. I may have had other plans that I was going to allocate the funds to. But in order to keep the income coming, in order to keep quality renters, I need new tires. I need when they have an issue, because they don't bring issues to me often, I can buy tires. That's okay. We can get that taken care of. While we were getting the tires, I said, well, it's probably time to get the transmission flushed. We got all the fluids flushed. Got the brake fluid flushed. We got um, the other fluids, the antifreeze, all that stuff was flushed because we want these vehicles to last a long time. So we're gonna put investment. But part of that, sometimes we can't put in the investment. We can't continue to grow the business because we're such in a rush. And sometimes we want to get the thing so bad we'll put ourselves in debt. Now, what would have happened if I would have had, let's say, a $700 car note? I would have had to upgrade insurance to make sure it was comprehensive insurance. And then I needed new tires. I may have had to take the money out of my own pocket. I may have had to get a loan to get the tires or put the tires on a payment plan. See how easy that can get distorted? See how easy a small thing can become a problem? It may take you longer to get to your plan, but I promise you, if you do it debt free, you're going to be free. You're going to have a peace that says it's okay. Life will move on. When you need a battery, let's go get one. When you need to get an oil change, yeah, let's go get one. And it's not to say that you're wasteful. It's not to say that you just pay anything. I search up the coupons. I look for the best deals. We're still using wisely. We're still good shepherds of the resources that God has gave us. So just to recap a little bit, because I know I've been chatting. It's been a while since I've been talking to y'all. So I have a lot to say, and I have a lot of things that I've been growing in that I want to share with you guys. So I want you to know My main takeaway that I would love for you to take away from this episode is that whatever you've been doing to get out of Egypt, whatever you had to do to get out of the bad place, it's time to rethink it. It's time to think, what mindset do I need to have to walk into the promised land? Because the children of Israel, one generation, died because they didn't change their income. They had to die off. And a new generation was birthed. And the new generation walked into their promised land because they had different thoughts. They were able to disconnect from the past. So sometimes you may have to do a disconnect. You might say, hey, this worked. This worked to get me here. But what got you to point B might not get you to point C. So let's rethink those things. Let's rethink the grind. Let's rethink the hustle culture. Let's step into resting more. The more you rest, the more you build in rest into your schedule, into your plans, you're going to be able to think bigger. You're going to be able to be more creative. You're going to be able to really focus on the things that matter. Focus on the things that brings you more income, unlimited income, not just capped income, but unlimited income where there's no cap. There's nobody that can say, oh, you can only make this amount. No, I can make infinitely amount. I can make millions, billions, and trillions on this. I can do big things. You can do big things. So I want to encourage you today. It's okay to take your foot off the gas pedal. And the more that I've been doing this, my nervous system has been calming down. I've been less anxious. I haven't been stressed as much because it's like, you know what? I don't have to do all of these things. I can take my foot off the brake now because I'm out. I have a secure job. All of my needs are met through my W-2 income. And now my unlimited wealth businesses are actually bringing in profit. It's okay. I don't have to do anything extra besides this right now. And I'm not used to that. It really hurts me. I had to delete the apps. I deleted Lyft off my phone. I deleted uh, the Substitute app off my phone. I deleted Uber Eats. I deleted those things and DoorDash. I deleted those things off because there's a new normal that I'm establishing for myself. There's a new level that we're trying to get to, that we're going to get to. And I want you to experience that with me. I want you to join me into seeing just how good life can get. Because life can be amazing. Think about this. I now take my Sundays for rest. Normally, the weekend is like a little extra grind time. So I do a little extra, do something I couldn't do throughout the week. But now I build it in and say, I'm not planning anything on Sundays.